It's time now for Better Money with Joel Johnson. Today we're talking about retirement, specifically how to decide where to retire. Joel is a certified financial planner and managing partner at Johnson-Brunetti. Thanks so much for being here.
Good to be here again, Kara.
We talk a lot about when, but this time we're talking about where, because there are some factors that will matter. And of course, immediately people think, oh, where can I go where I don't have to pay taxes?
Right, exactly. That's the first thing that comes up to people's minds is, hey, you know, if I move out of Connecticut, if I move out of Massachusetts, New York, the Northeast, I'm going to save a lot of money in taxes. That isn't always the case. California is a much higher tax state than we are here. But there are many, many other factors that come into play that may or may not be important to retirees.
Number one, you want to look at cost of living.
Cost of living is a big one. So I just mentioned Southern California, higher cost of living than we have here. Florida, lower cost of living. What's the cost of living? And do you have to make a decision based on the cost of living? Sometimes people just say, well, I want to save money no matter where I go, but there's always a trade-off. And so is that something you need to do? Is that really important? If it's just something you want to do, that's one thing. If you need to do it, then it's probably a big factor, is moving somewhere where the cost of living is lower.
And you have to consider your access to health care, where up here I would say this would be a win for Connecticut, right?
A real win for Connecticut, again, for those states that I mentioned in the Northeast. Great health care, highly talented physicians and physicians' assistants and nurses and so on. So, you know, it's a real win for us up here, and that keeps some people here.
And what about proximity to family and friends? You got to factor that in, right?
This is the really big deal, right? And so many clients that we have, you know, thousands of households that we serve, a good many retirees stay here because this is where the kids are, this is where the grandkids are, they want to be close. Now, the other side of that, if the kids and the grandkids all move to, let's say, Texas or the Carolinas, that's a big pull to move. Even though, you know, a retiree may have lived here for 20, 30, 40 years, they tend to follow the kids and the grandkids. So that's probably the number one determinant in where somebody lives.
Where are the kids? And transportation services.
This can be a big deal. The older you get, my parents are in their 80s and they're, you know, struggling to get around a little bit compared to the way they used to. So public transportation, Uber, Lyft, any of those services have an impact on where you're going to retire.
Right. Now we have to teach the grandparents how to use the Ubers and the Lyft, but I imagine that's made things a little more accessible sometimes.
It's made things accessible, but my parents still need help with that cell phone, you know, that crazy phone that never works.
So you have an offer for people if you want to decode the factors that you should be considering. It's the factors to consider when deciding where to retire, and it's a booklet here that everyone can get for free.
Right, 20 different factors. Let us know you want it. We'll send it right out to you. It's a great resource. It's got all the things that you would want to consider, from what we talked about earlier, taxes, cost of living, being near family, all of those things that you want to research before you make a decision. Don't make a rash decision about where to retire.
And to get that for free, all you have to do is go to bettermoneytv.com and you can download Joel's offer right there. Thank you so much.
Great to be here again, Kara.
That's Better Money.